We're really anchoring around things being personalized. So the metrics that people see are the ones that matter to them and are relevant to them. They're contextual. So it's about not being a destination site that people come to Tableau to learn things, but as much as possible, pushing the insights to where people are already in Slack or Teams or email or internet sites. And finally, smart, where the system is doing more work. It's expressing things in natural language that people can just read and they don't need to interpret. And just, I love the point Paul made about how it's not like generative intelligence is like the one true intelligence and we can everything, the last 60 years of AI, we can throw that out the window. It's a new tool in the tool belt and it's a really powerful tool, but it's not like when the hammer came out, we all threw out our screwdrivers, right? And so it's the same thing here. And so with Pulse in particular, we're leveraging human intelligence where, your analysts are the ones defining the metrics. Business users are specifying which metrics are interesting to them and which they should follow. We're doing statistical intelligence, aka math and data science and calculating linear regressions and all that kind of stuff that we know works well. Predictive intelligence, we're borrowing from consumer applications to surface insights to people based on what they've interacted with in the past or what people like them have interacted with. And then finally, generative intelligence is absolutely part of it, and it's a critical part of it. But again, it's sort of one tool in the tool belt. So to show you a demo briefly of what this looks like. And this is a Figma demo that's a little bit ahead of what will be GA in December, but this is how it'll evolve over the next 6 months or so. So this is what you see here is a landing page. This is the web version, but we also can email you a digest of what's going on with your metrics or push you a Slack notification. But really here, it's for Caroline. These are the metrics that matter to her. She's told the system that, she's configured that. And so now once the system knows what matters to her, it will watch what's going on with those metrics on her behalf. She can go back to her day job. The system is keeping an eye on things. And when it sees things going on and things that Caroline wants to know about, it's going to generate it as an insight like this. So Caroline can see this and, also push her to Slack and that kind of stuff. And to Paul's point about, LLMs not being great at the facts, but being great at the style. You see there's a lot of language in Pulse, and that's something we really believe in, particularly for business users. Again, people that don't have data and analytics in their titles, we want to just kind of tell them what they can know and they can just read it. But we're not having the large language model do the math here, right? They're really bad at math. They are confident, they hallucinate it, they'll say they're great at math, but they're not. So we're doing the math. Our engineers wrote code and we're going through the same visualization or the same Tableau code paths that are generating visualizations today. We've got unit tests around it. It is like real code. So we're doing these numbers. They're all correct. We generate language with templates. And then one of the ways we're using generative AI in Pulse is we're having the language model improve the language. So it goes from factually correct language that is true but boring and kind of robotic sounding to factually correct language that sounds really great. And so that's like one way we're able to leverage generative AI, make things nice and readable, generate these summaries on the fly, kind of a headline for your data. If you have 20 seconds to interact with data during the day, reading the summary is the best way to do that. But we're also have the same confidence in the numbers that we show in Tableau visualizations today. And we know the numbers are going to be right. And just so this is the landing screen, if Caroline wants to see that, appliance sales are way up here, she can dig into this. She can click through to see who created the metric. Analysts here are really the work they're doing is around creating the metrics, and then the visualizations, the insights, all the support around that is all provided automatically with Pulse. And so here, to touch on this briefly, Caroline is digging into what's going on with appliance sales. You can see that Tableau GPT or services are recommending questions that Caroline can answer, which is great. If she's busy and she's probably got other things on her mind, then like, what are great questions I can ask the database? It'll recommend questions. And really importantly too, she's able to ask business questions, not just data questions, not just SQL queries as a sentence, but an actual here's a qualitative question of why are sales going up? What's driving that? And we can answer these questions. Here you can see it's about air fryers, a big increase there. If she can choose another recommended question, or she can ask her own, so what else should I know about air fryers? And here the large language models are helping interpret the questions, understand that this is really a pivot from what's going on with this particular metric to what's going on with this particular dimensional value across all metrics. We see here that inventory fill rate is at risk because we're selling so many of these. And again, like Paul was saying, this actionability and like, what do you do with this? It's not valuable to anyone to just be kind of dishing out factoids, right? Here's kind of things that are true in the world. There's a lot of those, but they don't do a lot. But here I found something interesting. the system has auto-generated that message for me. Another use case that Paul mentioned. I can share this with Katie Hughes, and right away now Katie gets a Slack message, and she has the exact same context that I did as Caroline, the same visualization, the same insight. She can follow up in Slack, and the conversation can continue there. So very, very quickly, without Caroline having to think, oh, I should remember to go check in, what's going on with that dashboard. The system said, hey, this number is out of whack in a good way, but it's kind of weird. Pushed it to her. She was able to dig into it with 3 clicks. And now she's able to share that with Katie, who can action on it right away. So that's a tiny glimpse of what we're doing with Pulse. Again, this is all for the business user. Generative AI is, and this is really sort of you can think of this whole experience as a peer to the existing Tableau, workbook experience that we have and continue to have. Generative AI is woven throughout, but again, it's broader than just, sitting on top of a chatbot or sitting on top of ChatGPT or something like that.